Even with concerns about the president's tariffs, the Commerce Department says retail sales actually bounced back in June after falling in May. Specifically, they rose 6% last month after a near 1% drop the month before. Economists are obviously closely watching consumer behavior as President Trump's tariffs begin to drive up prices of some goods and services. Separate data out today shows the jobs market also remains resilient as new applications for employment benefits fell for the 5th straight week.
You know what's crazy? They were saying that the immigrants drive the economy, and now the border shut down, and the economy, people are getting jobs, inflation is going down.
I don't see how there could be an argument to illegal immigration helping the economy.
It probably helps the business owners get over on low wages. Yeah, not paying people and screwing over the Americans.
So again, how does that help the American economy?
People always cite the fact that they pay billions of dollars into taxes, but everyone who works pays freaking taxes. The cokehead himself.
For someone, am I going to be like all these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. You. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Who do you think does your garden? Who do you think is here by the sheer just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance. And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the criminals?
Just so they could pick your crops. That sounds insane.
That sounds racist.
It's insanity that liberals, specifically white liberals, use the justification of illegal immigration with
slavery,
with low-wage jobs. They work for pennies and do these jobs that should be paid more, but they don't get paid more because they're illegal. You should be happy that that's not you.
Who's going to pick our crops?
That's kind of messed up, man. That's kind of a messed up way to look at things.
It's extremely.
Wow. And here's Scott Benson saying he doesn't know what the Federal Reserve does.
Joe, I think that what we need to do is examine the entire Federal Reserve institution and whether they have been successful. I'm speaking, actually, I'm going to be in the building this evening. There is a regulatory conference that begins tomorrow. I'm the keynote speaker tonight talking about regulation. The Fed as well deals with monetary policy, regulations, financial stability. And again, I think that we should think, has the organization succeeded in its mission? If this were the FAA and we were having this many mistakes, we would go back and look at why has this happened? I mean, look at as you said at the top of this broadcast, there was fear mongering over tariffs, and thus far we have seen very little, if any, inflation. We've had great inflation numbers. So, I think this idea of them not being able to break out of a certain mindset, all these PhDs over there, I don't know what they do. This is like universal basic income for academic economists.
The Federal Reserve, aren't they the people who lost that $3 trillion as well? So, I mean, it definitely needs to be relooked at. They lost $3 trillion. Think about this from your own perspective. If you had someone in charge of your personal money and they lost a huge chunk of it, would you continue to trust them, or would you want to continue to let them just operate in the same way?
They control a huge amount of our money. These are our tax dollars.
That's what I'm saying.
This is insane. So
$3 trillion went missing. That went to people's pockets.
Yeah, I mean, and Doge people are not.
Doge is still going.
Yeah, they're still going. They're not even realizing the stuff Doge is saying on Twitter. Y'all need to follow Doge.
No, let's see what this says. So, over the past 3 days, they eliminated 80 wasteful contracts, 831 million, saved 436 million. Wow.
Over planning an environment workshop and roundtable discussion.
They needed $265,000 to plan an environment workshop.
That's a lot of money.
$265 to plan.
It's quite a roundtable discussion there.
Maybe we need to go work for the Federal Reserve.
Gotta have a PhD, bro.
And then they ain't too hard to get. I mean, clearly, shoot.
Over the last 2 days, agencies cut 103 wasteful contracts with a ceiling value of $6.3 billion and savings of $4.8 billion, including a 33,000 USDA contract for Guatemala Youth Conservation Corps Development Consultants, and a $1.5 million EPA consulting contract for support for state and local climate and energy programs.
That climate, they was scamming with that.
Man, that climate stuff, man, they getting crazy money. Where exactly does that money go?
To the climate.
It goes on and on.
But no one ever says where the money goes. They always say, oh, it's for this, but like, how is it for that? Where does it go to implement that? You know?
All right, guys. So Donald Trump, we all know he signed, was it a bill? Yeah, he signed he signed a big bill, guys,
bill.
that's making crypto, the stock market, everything go up, guys. And we have a little bit of explaining right here. It's getting crazy in the next 60 days, guys.
Now, in my opinion, this is the most pivotal moment in U.S. economic history since the creation of the Federal Reserve back in 1913. And here's the kicker. The biggest wealth transfer in human history is already underway. It's happening right now. So you're either going to be on the winning side of it, or you're going to miss the whole thing and get burned by it. But first, more news that I want to lay out for you, and the bigger picture of all of this that you need to understand. Trump has made it very clear. He wants Jerome Powell out. He calls him a clueless knucklehead, even flat out says that he's holding the country back.
You're telling me he's going to quit. I hope he quits. I don't know that he's going to quit, but he should quit because he's been very bad for the country.
There's another piece of this that most people, though, are completely missing, but it's huge. And it's Trump's answer to China. Now, the US dollar is officially going on the blockchain as of this last week. Yes, you heard that right, a US dollar-backed stablecoin, now being embraced as part of America's financial strategy. And it's not just some fringe crypto idea anymore. Trump just signed it into law on Friday night. This puts the dollar on chain in the form of a regulated stable coin as part of the Genius Act.
As we signed the landmark Genius Act, I pledged that we would bring back American liberty and leadership and make the United States the crypto capital of the world, and that's what we've done.
Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs, explained how big this is during the signing ceremony. Watch.
This Genius Act will unlock American dominance in the crypto industry by creating clear rules of the road. It will update archaic payment rails with a revolutionary new payment system. And it will extend U.S. dollar dominance, like you said, globally, by creating a digital dollar that people all over the world can use. And for every digital dollar in a crypto wallet, there'll be a traditional dollar in a U.S. bank account, which will create trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. Treasuries. So that is the power of this bill, is U.S. dollar dominance.
Now, make no mistake, this is a direct response to China's digital yuan and the BRICS de-dollarization push. Think about it. If we can't stop BRICS from launching their own gold-backed currency, dumping U.S. treasuries, well, the next best play is to modernize the U.S. dollar, make it easier to use, make it faster to settle transactions, and blockchain native, so it's on blockchain. That's what a dollar-backed stable coin does. It gives the dollar new life on a digital battlefield. And Trump is going all in on crypto. I mean, this is how Trump plans to keep the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency, not by printing more money, but by making the dollar more useful than anything out there. And I think that's what most people are missing in all of this. Oh, the US dollar with a stable coin, that's not going to save the US dollar, perhaps. But what it does do is make the US dollar far more useful than anything out there. It's a digital arms race. We can settle transactions quickly on blockchain. It's a digital arms race, and America is finally showing up. We don't look like we're stuck in the 1940s. So when you connect all the dots here, China dumping treasuries, Trump gunning for the Fed, CBDCs being banned by Congress, and President Trump, like, holy cow. I mean, now this massive push towards a blockchain-based US dollar, you realize right now we are in the middle of the biggest financial pivot in over 100 years. This is bigger, in my opinion, than Nixon taking us off the gold standard. This rivals 1913 and the creation of the Fed and the fake money printing that came out of that. And speaking of gold, gold is near record highs right now. Silver at a 14-year high. Bitcoin just blew past $120,000 a Bitcoin. And the stock market is hitting all-time highs. This is not normal, guys. None of this is normal. So where does this leave us? I mean, you at least think you'd see, stock market plummeting, Bitcoin skyrocketing, but all of it is up.
That was very educational, and I'm glad we watched that. So I think that with this Genius Act, that will really, really help because he said it'll put the US dollar on the blockchain. So it'll make the dollar more usable, more easy. And one thing that I've noticed just in my life, throughout the years, if you make something accessible, easy, and the most valuable, that thing will be king. So I think that this plan to do this with the crypto and the Genius Act will really help keep the US dollar up and then get China back to buying our treasuries again. And I think that this will be really, really good. So
It's crazy because people can obtain the US dollar in any country.
now, yeah,
So that is huge.
that was huge.
It's time to invest.
It is time.
It is, guys.
If there's
Yeah.
never been a clear indicator to invest in the market, whether that be stocks or crypto, now is the time. I mean,
Right.
the market's been up and down all year. I've been investing. I know they've been investing. It's time to buy in, guys. Like, pay attention.
Yeah, guys. So this is the first year ever in my life that I've ever started investing. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what to buy or anything. And that was until we met our friend Ross Givens, guys. He is a really good man, a man of God, Christian conservative guy. He has kids, and his whole thing is he really wants to help people like the regular people like us get on the same even playing field as the politicians, the CEOs, the CFOs. Ross has a company that all day, every day, they monitor insider trading so that politicians, CEOs, all of what they do is exposed to us. So he has a free training this Thursday where he teaches us how to do it. And guys, we're not just blowing smoke. We go to the training.
Actually, no, I literally just made a couple $1,000s from using Ross's advice.
Yeah, I only invest with Ross's advice. Like even off, like I will call Ross and ask him questions about investment stuff. He is an absolute genius. Here he is right here, guys. Ross Givens here to educate us about anything with stocks and finances in general. All right, so we got Ross Givens here. He's an absolute expert on all things that have to do with stocks and finances. He's helped us a lot along the way. He's our close friend now, and he's given us a lot of information that's really changed our lives and just the way we look at stocks and everything financially. So how's it going, Ross?
Hey, guys, good to see you all.
It's good to see you. Good to see you, man. So recently with this Elon Musk America party, what do you think about that? Do you think that could disrupt the typical two-party system we have right now?
Yeah, and it's funny because normally politics don't tie in that much to the stock market, right? It goes up big under Democrats, big under Republicans. But I mean, Tesla's like, well, Elon Musk, I mean, is so linked. I mean, he owns Tesla, which is worth $1 trillion. He's got XAI. He owns X. He's got a lot of other companies. So yeah, they are very much entwined. You know, I don't think it's going to be somewhere in between what he hopes it is and nothing, right? His goal is to be really tactical. He wants to get like a couple Senate seats, a couple congressional seats, and just kind of drive a wedge there through Washington. Because as you know, this whole country's so just divided that all the Dems vote on this, all the Republicans vote on that. And so his thought is, if I can get just a couple of guys in the House and in the Senate that both parties need, right? Because you take this big, beautiful bill, it passed by one vote. So if he's got even two guys in there, then either party wants to pass something big, they have to have their support. And so that would then allow them to come in and say, listen, we'll pass this bill, but we want more cuts. Or we'll let you do this, but we need a balanced budget. So I think that's his goal. But God, I hope he reaches it sooner than later, man, because Tesla stock is not enjoying the ride.
Well, speaking of Tesla stock, like the stock is down like nearly 50%. As an investment guy, would you say that this is a buying opportunity, or would that be like a signal to like stay away from it?
Well, the thing you have to remember about stocks is this, you know, they don't move in response to, they don't move after something happens. They move based on what investors believe is going to happen in the future, right? So if you look at Tesla just over the last year, Trump wins, Tesla stock, which is a monstrous company, doubles in 2, 3, 4 months. The reason being, here's Elon Musk, the CEO of the company. He has the ear of the president, the most powerful man in the world. He's camping out of the White House. He's helping cut expenses. So it looked like if anyone is going to get preferential treatment, it's going to be Elon Musk and Tesla. So investors thought that drove the stock price up, or buying. But then the reality came out, which was that Tesla was not, in fact, doing any better. It was doing way worse. So the liberals that used to buy all his cars suddenly hated the guy. They're putting swastikas on them and burning down dealerships. And so profits fell like 30, 40%. And so then he breaks up with Trump, and they had that crazy back and forth Twitter fight where he accused him of being on the Epstein list. And so the stock has just come crashing back down. Nothing really changed that much about Tesla within there. It's just the perception of what's going to come going forward. So it's a long way to answer your question. Would I buy it now? No, but not for those reasons. The reason I would not buy it now is because the guy who knows that company better than anybody else is not buying. In fact, not only is he not buying, he is selling. And the secret in the market, at least the way we've had a lot of success, because I'm not going to pretend I'm smarter than guys on Wall Street. We just follow people who know more than us, right? And typically that's these insiders, so the CEOs and CFOs. You can track their trades. Well, the CFO, which is the chief financial officer of Tesla, he's Elon's number 2, right? He's also the agent of record on this America party. So they're one and the same. He knows everything Elon's doing. And I'll put up this chart, or if y'all can throw it up here on the screen. This is 5 years of Tesla stock. Okay, and it's been a bit of a wild ride. Elon's a volatile guy. Unsurprisingly, stocks move. But I've marked on there where this CFO, where this guy sold stock. Okay, so if you're a top executive somewhere like Tesla, your salary probably looks something like $1 million in cash, and then $10 million in stock and another $10 million in options. So they get a lot of their money in stock. But if you notice where he's sold it, he tends to sell very, very close to the highs. I mean, 2021, 2022, 23, again in 25, he pretty much sold at all the peaks right before the stock came much, much lower. And the reason he can do that is he knows all this information before everyone else. He knows what the profits are. He knows how many cars got delivered last month. He knows what they're going to say in the earnings report. So he uses this information to his advantage to cash out when the getting's good, to sell near the tops. Well, if you throw up this next chart, this will show you what he's done over the last 6 months. And as you can see, he is selling this stock hand over fist, almost a dozen times just in the last 6 months. So he went from a guy who, very precisely got out and sold near the high, got out when the getting is good. Now you got a guy, he just wants to get out. 1.8 million, 700,000, 1 million, 1 million, 2 million, 1 million, 2 million, 3. He's just dumping. So to me, I know it's a long-winded answer, probably more than you wanted to hear, but when you've got the top guy at the company who knows the numbers, the books, the forecast better than anybody else, when he is selling this stock at a record pace, to me, that is anything but a signal that is a good time to buy Tesla. So if I'm betting it goes further before it goes up. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, so Ross, so let me get this straight. So the CEO or the CFO of Tesla was selling a lot of stocks. So you're saying that it's not really a good time to buy, you're more likely to sell, because that's what the CFO, the guy who has all the information, that's what he's doing. So
Exactly, right.
Okay, so on the contrary, if a guy like that is buying a lot of stock, would it make sense to also buy some stock?
All right, now you're asking the right questions. That absolutely would make sense. And that's essentially what we've done, right? We've been doing this as a service for our members since like 2017. We've never had a down year. We beat the market every single year. And all we do is this. When we see these insiders all suddenly buying, we buy the stock. And when they start selling, we get out. And it's really a simple concept, right? Just like I said, I mean, if it's a pharmaceutical stock, those people know how the drug trials are going. They know how the FDA approval application is going. If it's Tesla, they know how many car deliveries, how many sales. If it's C3.ai, they know when they're going to release the next AI model or merge or get bought out. They have access to all this information. And they are required to report their trades publicly. In fact, if any top executive at any public company, I don't care if it's Apple or Bob's Bait and Tackle, as long as it's publicly traded, they all have to report this stuff, and they have to do it within 2 days. Well, those records are public information. You just have to know where to look for them and what you're looking for. So that is our bread and butter. What we do is we look for these stocks. Now, usually it's not Tesla. Usually it's like these smaller $2, $3, like totally off the radar stocks. And when you see the CFO and the CEO and 2 vice presidents and half the board and the chief technology officer all suddenly buying the stock very heavily, it is often a sign that they're doing so because some good news is about to come out. A stock's about to run up. And so, we're actually having a training session this coming Thursday. Let's make sure I got that right. Yeah, this Thursday, July 24th at 3 Eastern. I think there's a link below if you want to sign up for that. But it's totally free. We show people how to do this, right? So it's you can scan for these stocks. Just look for the really obvious ones. Either they're all buying suddenly at once, or a couple of guys are buying, but like they've been there for 10 years and never bought before. Now they're going in for a couple $1,000,000 a piece, right? Just the things that are so obvious. And a lot of these stocks that we bought have made huge moves. I mean, we've bought stocks that have gone up 1,900%, 20-fold. And these are off the radar, smaller stocks, right? Everyone else is focusing on Tesla and Amazon and Google and Nvidia and the same stupid 20 names everybody else is fighting over. Meanwhile, there's another 9,985 stocks most people have forgotten about. And these are not big mega companies. They're not going to be on the front page of the Journal. They're not run by billionaires. These are small to medium-sized companies, most of which people have never heard of. And every one of them has a chief executive officer, a CFO, a board, vice presidents. And these are not guys making $50 million a year. They may make $200,000-300,000 a year. So if you got a guy who makes $300,000 a year, suddenly puts $500,000 into his own company stock with his own money at market prices, it's like, you probably know something, right? I mean, can you imagine going home to your husband or your wife or whoever saying, honey, I'm going to take $500,000 out of savings. I'm doing this with it. You better have a damn good explanation for why. And so that's what we've done. And it really works pretty well. I call it the best kept secret on Wall Street because nobody knows about it. Nobody talks about it other than what the politicians do. But it's a huge cheat code for picking good off the radar stocks that are about to make just huge moves.
Yeah, I mean, we can vouch for it because like the stocks that you even tell us to do, like we get in and they explode. Like Domo, that's a huge one that we really like in the house. Like
we did that one April, right? It's doubled already, and it's not 100%, right? This is the stock market. There's always going to be risk involved, and I don't want anybody to think that you put money in it doubles every single time, right? But when you think about it, if you're buying stocks, you're investing, which I think everyone should be doing, especially right now, just a huge bull market. You're betting that company is going to make more money, more profits, and continue to grow into the future, right? So if you then took that big pile of stocks and shrank it down only to the ones that the people running it were buying, right? They're putting their own money where their mouth is. They're eating their own cooking. That's much better. And if you then focus on the ones that are rare, big buying, aggressive, that seem opportunistic, those are even better. And so we tend to get, again, not always, but we tend to get in sort of a heads I win, tails I don't lose situation, right? If it's a Domo, it's up 50, 100% pretty quickly because they were in fact buying before record earnings or an FDA approval or whatever it may be. If not, and it was just a coincidence they were buying, they weren't actually taking advantage of anything, what are the odds the top guys are putting hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, their personal money, in their own stock at market prices right before something bad happens, right before their earnings plummet? Like it's just very rare. You see what I'm saying? So to me, it's a fantastic way of approaching the market. We've been doing this for 7.5 years now. And we've got dozens and dozens of triple, quadruple digit winners even from doing this. So, for anyone interested in stocks, whether you have $10 or 10 million, click that link below. Come to the event. It's a free event. You guys have seen it. We do them every couple of months usually. We just so happen to have one coming up this Thursday, but it's July 24th, 3 o'clock Eastern. Just put in your name and email. We'll send you the link. It's online. It's 100% free. And I'll show you everything. You'll see the sites you can access this stuff, what to look for, what to look out for. I'll show you a bunch of examples. And I think you'll be very amazed. You'll leave with your eyes wide open.
No, that's 100% facts, because even the stocks that didn't double or blow, that you gave us, like, I didn't lose money on any of them. It was either I made money or I stayed the same. It wasn't any that I just lost all my money for. So, okay, so then that brings me to my last question, which is, why doesn't everyone do this? Like, if we know that public insider trading information is available and that it's pretty accurate, why doesn't everyone do it?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm trying to change that, right? It's what I'm out here talking about, hosting these free training events. But there's really two reasons. One, the idea is very simple, but it's not super easy to find. Like, it's out there, and I'm going to show everybody how to do it. But like, if I told you, go find me which stocks insiders bought today, you probably wouldn't know how to do it. Right? You got to dig through. So it's the same thing with the political trades. Like, it's kind of harder to find. So we show you a methodical process for doing that. But the other reason, and the big reason that like you don't see hedge funds and ultra wealthy doing this, is they can't. And that's one of the advantages you have as a smaller trader. When I say smaller, I mean like 5 million or less, right? If you're BlackRock and you're buying $1 billion at a time, you have to buy the mega companies. You have to buy Amazon and Google and Apple and Nvidia. They're the only ones that have enough liquidity. If I've got this little $2 stock that the whole company is only worth 30 or 40 million bucks, the big guys can't buy it, right? The amount of shares they have to buy is like 0.00001% of their portfolio. So they just ignore that area. They can't get in, right? They would drive the stock. There's not enough there. But if you're only trying to invest 500, 10,000, 50,000 at a time, our smaller size allows us to be more nimble. So, again, most people don't. I mean, there's 11,000 publicly traded stocks, and I bet most people have max heard of 100 of them. So
right,
like Domo, no one's ever heard of Domo, right? I mean, one we got a year ago. This one was a pharmaceutical stock. It was trading for 40 cents. The ticker symbol is CATX. It's Perspective Therapeutics. Little off the radar, development stage, biotech, doing God knows what that I don't understand. But we saw in 1 week, 11 people at that company bought. The CEO bought. The chief financial officer bought. The VPs bought. Half the board bought. The chief medical officer bought. So here you got this little biopharmaceutical company. They were slap in the middle of the most important drug trials in the company's history. And suddenly everybody there is putting half their salary into the stock in a single week at 40 cents a share. It's like, things are probably going well over perspective. And so we bought the stock. And again, it went up like 300-something% in a few months. So that's the real reason, right? Is you can only do this if you're a regular retail investor. And most people in your seat, don't want to, don't know how or spend the time to do this. I'm one of the few people that does do this for a living. That's why we hold these training events and show people how they can do it. But I hope people come. I should have mentioned, when you register, we're also going to send you a free report. It's our most recent insider pick. So you'll get the stock, the ticker symbol. You'll see all the insiders buying. Our full rundowns written in plain English. So even if you cannot attend live, I encourage you to put your email or your phone number down in there. We'll shoot that over to you instantly. If you put your cell in, I think we'll text you a reminder a few minutes before we get started so you don't miss it. But we've just gotten tremendous feedback from these. Been doing them for several years, so I think we've gotten a pretty good groove of sharing this information in a very digestible format. So I hope people come attend and leave smarter and hopefully wealthier soon.
No, definitely. We use the stocks that Ross sends to us. Everyone here invests in Ross stocks. We practice what we preach. We truly believe in this. We've made money from it. It works. It's a free training seminar this Thursday. Like, why would you not come get free knowledge? And there's a review that we need to pull up from someone who we don't even know, who attended who attended this free training last time, and she left a crazy nice review saying how her life was changed from this, and that her whole view on stocks and investing all came from this free training event this Thursday, guys. So if you want to learn more about stocks, you want to make money, be there this Thursday. What time is it again?
3:00 Eastern.
This Thursday, 3:00 Eastern, guys. If you want to make some money, be there. Thank you so much, Ross.
Hey, always great talking to you guys. Ross. Keep up the good work.